You
You
are
you are
listening
listening
to
to
the
the
Black
Black
Love
Love
Experience
Experience
podcast.
I'm Amber.
I'm Tavares. We are the Black Love Experience. Welcome to our kingdom. Welcome back to the Black Love Experience podcast. I am Tavares, and my lovely wife and queen, Mrs. Garrett, Amber JG, is out on assignment right now. I want to say what's up to the kingdom. What's up, kings and queens? And shout out to all the little princes and princesses out there getting it together in the summertime, because we looking good this summer, right? We feeling good? All right. Today we're talking about being intentional in love. How many of y'all are doing this? I know I'm doing it. Me and Mrs. Garrett, we do it. And we do it with transparency. See, being intentional in love is a great way to set your relationship up for success. I can speak to this because I've had not such good luck in relationships, and I've had great luck in relationships. In fact, I believe my former partners, yeah, there's been some good times. I mean, look, we all go through things, right? However, I must say, being with Mrs. Garrett and being a part of this union, it's the first time both of us have been married. And we're learning a lot, not only about each other, but ourselves and how we navigate through love. See, being intentional in love comes with, mindfulness. It comes with being aware. It comes with being, excited about who you're with. And not just that, also being excited about yourself. Okay, it's important to show up excited in the relationship. And so many times, Mrs. Garrett and I, we talk all the time. We're very transparent with one another. We feel it's one of our love languages, and we adore that about each other. When it comes to being intentional with yourself, it's essential, okay? Especially in relationships, because it provides a sense of purpose when we describe ourselves as intentional. We are saying that we are purposeful in the things that we do and say. We are intentional when we live our life using a conscious effort to be present and thoughtful in our words and actions, okay? One thing that I picked up doing before bed is journaling. And I write down 3 things I love about Mrs. Garrett before I go to bed. And then, of course, I have another part of that journaling, but that's for a different episode. We'll stick with this. Because I'm doing that, it allows me to be more mindful about her feelings, about what she's saying. I'm not just hearing her, I'm listening to her. Okay? And she loves that. How do I know? Because she treats me the same way in return. Many of us think that we are already practicing a life full of intentionality, but sometimes we're just going through the motions. And most of us are acting based on societal conditioning, right? Things that we've learned from our past or friends or family members, influencers that have been directly associated or affiliated with us while we've been coming up in life, right? Right. So in being intentional, I am able to do things that I normally wouldn't have done. Like journaling. That's one thing that's really cool about journaling. I never saw myself doing that, but I'm glad that I do, because it's a great way for me to do my part in the relationship and keeping it fresh, right? Keeping that fire going. Mrs. Garrett and I have been married just over 2 years. We're still newlyweds, and it is not, nor will it ever be, the time to get comfortable. All right. I'm not saying you can't be comfortable with your partner, but I believe we all understand when we are too comfortable, right? Nobody wants to be treated as if they're just another individual. So we must be mindful, okay? And in doing so, buying flowers, it's a beautiful sentiment. Don't get me wrong. But there's so much more, like writing letters. In fact, around our home, we have a bunch of Post-it notes. And on these Post-it notes, and they're in all kind of colors, turquoise, pink, purple, all that, right? Yellow, orange, all kind of colors. And so on these Post-it notes, they're all throughout the house. They're in the bathroom, they're in the kitchen, on the refrigerator, they're on cabinets. I mean, they're all over. And they say sweet things on them. I mean, it says, hello, queen, welcome home. Another one may say, I see you, baby, you looking good. All these beautiful, kind and warm and intentional reminders constantly around us, because that too helps us to stay mindful. Look, we're like everyone else. We can get caught up in our day to day, in our professional lives and all that, right? Because life throws so many things at us from day to day. But it's so important to not forget about each other in the midst of all that is going on. And we do that by staying intentional, okay? We help ourselves to not react to circumstances without considering the entire picture, right? And look, I have fallen many times in regards to that. I have been a very reactive person throughout the course of my life. And so now, with the help of my terrific team of women doctors, shout out Dr. J and Dr. M, they help me untangle the things that need to be untangled. And I'm so glad I took this step, because this is an intentional step. I didn't do it before. I've gone to therapy before, but not to the depth I'm going through it now. And that's because I wanted to be a better human being. I wanted to be a better man, brother, cousin, husband, friend, all of it, because I deserve that, right? I deserve that for myself, just like you deserve it for yourself. And I believe that my beautiful wife absolutely deserves for her king to be on his game and to be intentional about what he wants to provide to her. Intentionality is best understood during times of high stress or anxiety, as these times rely most heavily on automatic stress responses within our body. I've talked about this many times, and we have to be mindful of that. I was just talking to my cousin earlier about managing our expectations, managing our energy, okay? And managing, many don't think about this, but managing our momentum and motivation. Now, me being a reactive individual, aka impulsive individual, when things stress me, I may or may not react to them bad. But because I'm being intentional about my health, right? My diet, right? My hydration, right? See, a lot of folks don't really quite understand how everything is connected. And I take that to the max as much as I possibly can, because I do want to be the best human being I possibly can. And so when I'm being intentional in love with my wife, it looks like journaling. It looks like leaving Post-it notes and sweet nothings all around the house. I even asked her, hey, honey, give me a top 5 list of things I can do to be more romantic, to elevate our intimacy. She gave me that list. Now, when I first read the list, I can't deny I did have a bit of anxiety, but that is all me. She didn't give me that anxiety. That's just how I process and have processed in my past. Now, it wasn't like on a scale of 1 to 5, it was like a 2.5, but still, I'm trying to get that thing down to like a 0. Okay. And that may or may not be possible, but I'm intentional about my efforts. I'm intentional about trying and getting to that low stress level number. And so when she did that, I read it over a few times. And let me just say, I did respond. And let me just say, the mornings are popping. I ain't going to talk too much about it, but you get where I'm going. And it's not just the intimacy has been lifted and elevated, but our spirits have been lifted and elevated. I mean, think about how stress-free it is to talk to your partner about things like intimacy when you're being intentional about it. There's no surprises. And Mrs. Garrett is responding to me the same way. And because I want to be focused in what we're doing, we love to capitalize on opportunities like this. Look, it's like, you come home from work And we all want to, get the day off us, right? We may shower, we may stretch, decompress, meditate, all the above. And some of us may come home and not really speak to our partners when we get home. We can't do that in the Garrett household. Our energies are so strong and our spirits are so alive. If you ever have a chance to be around us, you'll understand what I'm saying. See, our love is not only in an abundance, it's so obvious. And in many cases, it's also infectious and contagious. And we love that because that is the signature of our love. Now, we couldn't get to this place without being intentional. Knowing ourselves and our values is so important. Being intentional with ourselves begins with knowing ourselves. How well do you know yourself? Are you intentional about getting to know yourself? We're not talking about getting to know your partner right now. We're talking about getting to know thyself. See, I love this part of this episode because I talk often about self-love, self-awareness, getting closer to the self, and everything starting and beginning with the self. See, I can't go out in the world and look for love. I should be asking myself for that love. I can't look to Mrs. Garrett, even though she's my lovely wife, and say, baby, I need you to give me affection. I should still be giving myself affection. Because the more I give myself, the more love, the more attention, the more affection, the more I am available to my beautiful queen. This is the Black Love Experience podcast. Mrs. Garrett is out on assignment. And guess what, y'all? We'll be right back. Hey, what's up, everybody? Please say a prayer for those over in Turkey and continue praying for those in Ukraine. The world, as we all know, is going through a very dark time right now. So please, let's shine a light and show love. Welcome back to the Black Love Experience podcast. I am Tavares. My beautiful queen, Amber JG, is out on assignment right now. And today we're talking about being intentional in love. I love this episode. I love all the episodes, but I really love this one. Before we went to break, I was talking about knowing ourselves and our values. Being intentional with ourselves begins with knowing ourselves, right? Would you all agree? All right. Okay. I see some heads shaking there. Definitely. We must know what's important to us and what makes us feel alive. Remember earlier, you heard me talking about how I asked Mrs. Garrett to do and create the top 5 list of me and how I can be more romantic. And she gave me that list. And I was a little apprehensive at first, but then I started to read the list and I became excited because this is a new opportunity to get to know my wife. There's always room for growth. I know many folks, they've been telling us, wait till y'all been married 7 years, wait till y'all been married 10 years. I say, yeah, let's wait. Because we're going to be looking forward to it. It's going to be a party within our relationship because we understand that there are opportunities always in the relationship for it to get better. There's always an opportunity. Just because you're with someone for a long time doesn't mean that you have to get too comfortable. It doesn't mean that you have to stop courting them. You should still be opening the door for your woman or your wife. I mean, that's just how it goes. And women, they will still be courting their man as they see fit. Maybe rubbing the back of his neck, his ears, maybe giving him a massage. You get where I'm going with this. See, a lot of times what happens is we often forget to do these things, but yet we do them to get our mate, right? Exactly. And what I love about Mrs. Garrett and I is that she is not holding her tongue about letting me know, hey, babe, don't forget to open my door. I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, be okay with reminding your partners about courting you. It's not a bad thing. Fellas, don't be upset by that. Women, don't be apprehensive about it. If your man is not opening the door, just say, baby, can you please get my door? You are my king. I am your queen. So can you please get my door? I guarantee for the beautiful queens listening, if you turn to your man and say, King, can you get my door, baby? That man will fly to that door handle. He will get after it Mrs. Garrett and I refer to each other as king and queen. Okay, we understand our heritage. We understand who our ancestors are. And we absolutely rep that. We have no problem repping that because we know where we come from. Like I said earlier, knowing ourselves and our values, definitely key. We need to understand the things that we love or hate and also be able to identify why we feel the way that we do. Back to that list I asked Mrs. Garrett for. One of the things on that list was she said for me to ask her about her likes and dislikes in the bedroom. You know, when I read that, I realized I had never asked her that. And the most interesting thing is, in my younger years, in a previous life, I actually used to ask that question. It was a part of my game, if you will. But now I see why it's so important. See, I want to know what my wife likes and what she doesn't like. I don't want to do or make the wrong move and turn her off or turn her down. I want to turn her on and turn her up romantically. That is so important. I want her to know that her king is mindful of not only her whereabouts and her feelings, but her body and her spirit. I prefer to make love to her spirit, not just her body, her mind too. How do we do that? By asking these questions. Women love when us men inquire about what they want, not just what they need, what they want, their desires, what makes them smile, what turns them on. I mean, yeah, shoes and bags and trips are cool, but intimacy? You can't buy intimacy. That's an energy. That's a connection. You create intimacy. How do you create it? With intention. Okay? We must, and look, intention is a mindset. Please know that. It's a mindset. It's something that we go into each and every single day. Some of the questions I may ask myself to assure that I am behaving with intention are, what motivates me? That's number one. I have a lot of things that motivate me, but what motivates me in love? My queen's beautiful smile. The fact that I don't ever want to disappoint or hurt her, that motivates me as well. The fact that she is willing to do anything for me, that's also motivating. Our union, our spiritual connection, now that is definitely motivating. What brings me peace? Number two, our love brings me peace. Our conversations bring me peace. Our connection brings me peace. The way we work together, the way we move, even in the house, even in the kitchen when we're cooking, it's so instrumental. It's like a symphony how we move. We may not say one word, but yet we pick up where the other one leaves off. If I drop it, she'll pick it up. If she drops it, I'll pick it up. It's really interesting. It's like a dance of spirits. Number three, how do I react under stress? I've had to work on this one, ladies and gentlemen. I've had to really work on it. Amber's so opposite of me. Like, she's like super chill. In fact, I nicknamed her 75 and sunny because every day she wakes up, truly, it's 75 and sunny. It's in the tone of her voice, just the way she says Grand Rising. I'm just like, oh my gosh, Lord, thank you. Thank you for blessing me with a beautiful queen. Number four, what brings meaning to my life? Mrs. G and I talk about this all the time. Family, our children, our grandchildren, the extended family, seeing family elevate and being a part of that, helping them by being love. If you want to get love, become love, be love. And then, of course, asking myself, what brings meaning to my life? I know what brings meaning: spirituality, peace, family, balance, sobriety. All those things bring meaningfulness into our lives. And then, what are my strengths? See, I ask myself these questions because my strengths are important, not only for me, but for our union. What are my weaknesses? Now, this is a question not many men are willing to ask themselves. But gentlemen, kings, we have to go there. We have to know who we are. We have to know what our value is. See, when a queen knows her value, what does a king do? He levels up. If he wants that queen, and we've all seen it, a king will level up. He will get it together because he understands what it means to be with the queen. What do I fear? Well, dying alone, but that's now out of there because I'm married. So what do I fear? Nothing. I walk right up to fear. I look at it, I take note, and then I move through it. Because fear has a way of paralyzing people. It has a way of stopping people right in their tracks. It has a way of getting in the way of dreams and visions and goals. I mean, it's a tough go. And we must not give in to fear. And the last one, which people bring light and meaning to my life? Woo! Love this one. That right there reminds me of another way of putting it like this. Who needs me to be on my A game today? That's a question I lend to my associates and my business partners. We talk about this often because it does something to me when I think about who needs me on my A game today. And all of y'all listening, you could borrow that. And I'm going to tell you something. It will hit a little different every time you ask that question, no matter what day it is, because there's always somebody in our lives who needs us to be on our A game. This is the Black Love Experience podcast. I am Tavares. My beautiful queen, Amber JG, is out on assignment. We'll be right back. Don't forget to pick up my new book, Kissed by the Wind, A Book of Poems and Passions, Volume 3, out now on Amazon Books. Go ahead and search Tavares Allen Garrett and get yourself a copy. Thank you for your support. Be sure to catch the BLX podcast right here on Anchor.fm weekly. Welcome back to the Black Love Experience podcast. I am Tavares. My beautiful queen is out on assignment. Y'all know she be doing her thing. Today we're talking about being intentional in love. Hey, somebody has to do it. Why not you? Why not me? Right? Look, when we're intentional in love, we're talking about the longevity of our relationships. We're talking about this journey being a lifelong journey. So there's not going to be any opportunity for us to get too comfortable while we're being intentional. And so knowing ourselves helps to be authentic in our relationships. I'm going to say it again. Knowing ourselves helps to be intentional in our relationships. Self-reflection helps us to empathize with our peers and show genuine compassion when it is needed. Now, I haven't always been this version of myself. I was once a very selfish man, very self-centered man. The world revolved around me, or so I thought. Even the sun, or so I thought. But when Mrs. G and I reconnected after 18 years, not only did I know there was a God, I knew that he saved one for me and one for her. Because, I'm a bit of a catch myself. I'm playing, not really, but you know what I'm saying. It's a beautiful feeling when you have met someone you believe was designed specifically for you. After my last relationship, the breakup was pretty bad. And I believe both of us were really hurt. And, I didn't really have high hopes for myself or relationships at all. And I told myself if I was ever going to entertain another relationship again, that I better get intentional about the kind of spirit I wanted to connect to. And I was. I prayed on it. And I was very specific. For anyone out there right now who may be in a similar situation, may or may not, you can borrow this too. When you pray, if you pray, Be intentional. Be very descriptive. Be very specific. I was. And Mrs. Garrett showed herself. I was specific. I wanted someone that was going to be kind, nice, hardworking, warm, and in love with me. Above many other things, a great cook, a beautiful person, a kind spirit, all these beautiful things. And that's exactly what I got. It's exactly what I got. And I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for being open to the possibilities. See, life is full of surprises. That's what makes life so beautiful, so special, because we don't always know what's going to happen. Yeah, we have ideas and thoughts, and sometimes we could feel that vibration coming, but it's not always like that. Many times we have to go through things and experience downfalls in order to appreciate when the swing is coming back around in our favor. Self-reflection, again, helps us to empathize with our peers and show genuine compassion when it is needed, bringing awareness to our personality, traits, values, and overall identity helps us to understand not only who we are, but also what we can offer in our relationships. That is why it's so valuable and so important to know ourselves, knowing ourselves and knowing our values. When it comes to Mrs. Garrett and how we connect, I said it earlier, transparency. Look, we're grown, so we don't hide anything from each other. We don't. And anything that may be difficult to talk about, we hold space for ourselves and each other to process. I don't push, she doesn't push. If there's a conversation that's happening and she doesn't want to go there because she's just not ready to, it's okay. And I want everyone to hear this. It is okay. We don't need to push our partners into spaces they don't want to go. If they're willing to talk about it at some point in time, that's a win. We can't continue to push and to make them feel uncomfortable because of what we on the other side of the conversation may want to know. It's not always about being right or wrong. Sometimes it's just about being kind and supportive to our partners. Being intentional with others is also key. A relationship is more likely to last when it is built upon a foundation of honesty, vulnerability, and accountability. Hello, mouthful alert, mouthful alert. I'm gonna say that one again. A relationship is more likely to last when it is built upon a foundation of honesty, vulnerability, and accountability. Now, I didn't always agree with all these because I never knew about them. Again, this is a different version of me that you guys are getting right now. I've had to be intentional about being a better human being. I've had to really go and do the work. That's why I have a team of incredible women doctors. Incredible, because they help me to untangle the things that need to be untangled. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I don't know how to do what they do. And what they do is help me to be a better human being so that I can come home to my beautiful queen and be a better everything for her and for our children and for our grandchildren. Look, a lot of us have generational trauma that we have made it through. And I have decided to do something about my trauma. I've decided to go work with Dr. J in EMDR therapy. If you don't know what that is, look it up. EMDR therapy. It's powerful. It's great. I love it. Look it up. It does wonders for people who have dealt with childhood traumas. And I'm talking about all traumas. And now I'm more available emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. So I'm so excited anytime I get the opportunity for Mrs. Garrett and I to grow because, hey, I'm doing the work and it's for me, but what's good for me is good for our union, right? Exactly. And I discuss all these moves with Mrs. Garrett. So she's definitely involved in everything that I do. Friendships and relationships often spark from common interests or values, right? Some of you have friends and you guys have a lot of, similarities. And a lot of that is centered around common interests or values. A lot of our relationships that we have on a day-to-day, whether personal or professional, are based on the same thing, common interests or values. We might always consider the connections that we share with our friends and family meaningful because those relationships and those connections are meaningful. All right. Very important to be mindful. But true, deep, and intimate connections is found when actions and words are purposeful. Hello. I know y'all know about that. I know you know about that. So for anyone out there right now who may be going through something difficult, hold space for yourself. Be patient with yourself. That's how I got here. That's exactly how Mrs. Garrett and I got here. And guess what? We're still evolving. See, there's never, we don't take days off in love. Every day is a new opportunity to elevate our love. And we love the fact that we, as two spirits, connect on such a deep level. This is the Black Love Experience podcast. I am Tavares. Mrs. Garrett is out on assignment, and we will be right back. Body Synthesis assists you with stress relief, weight management, behavior change, sober support, positive self-talk, nutritious lifestyling, and more. Are you transformation ready? Call us now at 818-533-8059. And if you're online, check us out on Instagram or Facebook at Body Synthesis. Go to our website at thebodysynthesis.com.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice.
Welcome back to the Black Love Experience podcast. I am Tavares. My beautiful queen is out on assignment, Mrs. Amber Johnson Garrett. I love my queen. Today we're talking about being in love intentionally, or being intentional while being in love. Same thing. And look, intentional relationships exist when each person feels valued, loved, and appreciated. Do you feel valued? Do you feel loved? Are you appreciated? Now, if you said no to any of those, talk to your partner. Don't yell at them now, and don't talk at them. Talk to them. Help them to understand what you desire, what you may need and want. Both of them are equally important. Men, we have to listen to our queens. Queens, we have to listen to our kings. And I'm not saying that in a way where you must do it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying intentional relationships exist when each person feels valued, loved, and appreciated. That's what I'm talking about. This is all connected to being intentional in love because we're talking about setting the relationship up for success. When I journal before bed, I am setting our relationship up for success. And guess what? It helps me to wake up in a very loving mood. And I mean that. It really is, because that's the last thing on my mind. So imagine what the first thing on my mind is when I wake up. My queen. Exactly. That's how it works. We must continue to be intentional with our relationships, and we must be responsive to needs. Different relationships require meeting different needs, y'all, okay? As each person has unique strengths and weaknesses, okay? A quality relationship prioritizes responding to one another's independent needs as well as the specific needs of the relationship, okay? Like I said, being married is not just about being married. Being married, in our humble opinions, is, for us, it's being transparent. It is showing up and showing the better versions of ourselves each and every single day. Sometimes I don't wake up like Mrs. G at 75 and sunny. Sometimes I'm like 65 and muggy. But that's because perhaps my sleep was broken or something like that. I get up very early and go to the gym. You get what I'm saying. But her waking up at 75 and sunny, it's contagious. And the thing is, I don't want to respond to her with a halfway subdued good morning. If she's like, Grand Rising, baby, I want to be like, Grand Rising, girl, how you doing? That's how I want to respond, and that's how I respond, because light begets light. High energy begets high energy. You get where I'm going with this. It does matter how we respond to each other when we talk to each other. And let me just add to that. If you're having a conversation and you're listening to your partner speak to you, be sure to acknowledge that you hear them. Look, I've been there. I've been in conversations where my partner has the floor and I don't say anything, and they be like, are you listening? And instead of them having to ask that question, let's be mindful and intentional in active listen. Active listening is you looking at the individual, acknowledging with intent what they're saying, and sometimes even repeating it back to them so that they hear and know that you are engaged in the conversation. Okay, some friends may require a phone call once a month to feel loved. Others may require quality time once a week. I know for myself and my wife, we require not only time, quality time, and so we travel, or we'll just we'll do a staycation and we'll just stay home and, perhaps Netflix and chill or something like that. Maybe we'll order out for our favorite Thai food or, our favorite sushi, because it's about being intentional about that quality time, right? And so I know Mrs. G likes for me to check in with her throughout the day. So I do it. And look, even if it's not something I prefer to do, it's not about me. It's about the union. It's about feeding and nurturing our marriage. That's what it's about. We must continue to be mindful, okay? Responsiveness is also crucial when a friend experiences trauma or other distressing emotions. Look, we all show up for our friends, right? Right. Some people show up for their friends more than they do for their marriage. I'm not going to say if that's right or wrong because I don't know who does that. I know we don't do that. We do our best to love everybody equally. And I believe we do a darn good job at that. And that's another reason why we have such a loving village. If you expect your friend to be there for you whenever you need them, be sure, listen now, be sure to be there for them likewise. It's important to show up not only for yourselves, but for each other, especially when you're in love, right? I don't think anyone likes it when the relationship is lopsided, one-sided, because it tends to draw out more energy from the other person. Look, we're not in the business of running people into the ground. Oh, no, 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 no. We're in the business of elevating love and sharing our love. Communicate with intention. That's another way to set the relationship up for success. Everything seems easy when you and your friends are on the same page and your intentions, goals, and beliefs align. Hello. The same goes for a relationship, the exact same thing. It's also significant if or when your friend becomes a person of interest romantically. Hello. Mrs. G and I were friends before we became lovers, y'all. We really were. In fact, Mrs. G knew a lot of my family before we even got married. So she's familiar with my family. That made it definitely a plus. Like that was like an ultimate win because she knows my aunts. She knows cousins of mine. She went to school with some of my cousins. And so I know and have known a lot about her and her family. And I'm so thankful for that. All right. As there are many substitutes in reading another person's intentions, always be sure that you understand one another when you are prioritizing your relationship. Talk to your partner about the priorities in the relationship. Mrs. Garrett and I, again, I said it earlier, we're transparent. And we do our best to cover everything. And it's not like we sit down and kind of go through this list. However, we do relationship reviews. What you know about that, huh? Talk about being intentional. Yeah, we will do a relationship review, perhaps on a Sunday. and it's not long. It's like maybe 20 minutes. And we talk about the relationship. We talk about, again, the likes and dislikes. We talk about areas where we may or may not could have done a better job. And look, this isn't about calling each other out. It's not about making the other person feel lesser than or inadequate or shaming them. No, it's about being mindful. It's about being present in the relationship. Look, when we go to work, we're mindful about the job that we do, right? Right. We understand the deadlines, right? Right. Our marriage is no different. In fact, our marriage is at the very top of that list because we understand what each other may or may not be expecting from one another. We don't have a whole lot of expectations. We manage those expectations. And guess what? Why don't we have many expectations? Because we talk. We share. We share stories, past, present. We share our futures, the idea of where we see ourselves going. And that is what helps us to continue to build momentum, which builds motivation, which keeps us moving on the same track. This is the Black Love Experience Podcast. I am Tavares. My beautiful queen's out on assignment. And guess what? You guessed it. We'll be right back. If y'all love music, be sure to check out Amber JG and Tavares Days on Apple Music. Go ahead, check it out. We got them hits for you. Pussycat Pearly here, baby. Fluffy in the front, tight in the back. And if we going up, then we going all the way up. You dig? Now check this out. I'm always locked in. And I'm always locked in to the Black Love Experience Podcast. They just give me what I need to get through the day. You understand what I'm saying? Do you really dig what I'm saying to you? It's really real up over here. Tell a friend, tell somebody. We always locked in. The BLX, baby. It's the Black Love Experience Podcast. I am the only one you know. Meow. Always encourage love. Always encourage Black love. Everybody, everywhere. Always stand up in the name of love. Welcome back to the Black Love Experience Podcast. I am Tavares. Today we're talking about being intentional in love. My beautiful wife is out on assignment. Y'all know she be busy. And guess what? That's okay because we talk about that sort of thing. I love the fact that she's so career-oriented. I love the fact that she's goal-oriented. Many times I feel like we're one of the same people because we have that fire. We have that drive. And that's important too, right? It's important to connect with someone who has similar interests than you. And sometimes not, because opposites do attract. That's a real thing. Also, we're talking about fostering connections. Intentionality comes with knowing yourself and knowing your friend, knowing your partner. Another way to be intentional is by asking questions to get to know them. I said that earlier. Ask questions. These questions can be surface level or deeply personal depending on where you are in your relationship. For Mrs. Garrett and I, we're married just over 2 years. So we're still getting to know each other on this particular level, right? Which is important to us. Continue to be curious, but not intrusive. Show eagerness to learn who they are and what they are about. It is much easier to connect with someone when you get to know their most authentic facets. Hello. I love that part. Look, it's super important. Be present. I mentioned this earlier. I've been saying it this whole conversation. Being present is essential in creating intentional relationships. It is easy to live on autopilot. I said that earlier. When conversing or spending time with someone, especially if you already are comfortable around them. Remember what I said earlier? Being too comfortable is not always a good thing. So we must be present. Being present is being conscious about your actions and responses. Hello. Okay? Your queen deserves quality time. She deserves your attention. Put down the Xbox. No shade on Xbox playing. I don't play, but I have associates and friends who do. But put it down for a moment. If she's talking to you, look at her in her eyes when she's speaking to you. I'm big on eye contact. First of all, I think eye contact is sexy. Okay? So when Mrs. Garrett and I talk, oh yeah, eye contact is official. And it's not because that's what I love. That's because it's what we love for our union. Remember, it's about our union. Practice appreciation. Human connection helps us to feel loved. Relationships have value when we are intentional with our appreciation for one another. Holding her hand, Mrs. Garrett loves that. Opening her door, she loves that. Complimenting her, she loves that. I don't know if y'all know, Mrs. Garrett is a beauty queen. She has many titles, okay? And I'm not just saying that. She actually does have many titles, many crowns. And so there's certain things that I've had to learn about her past that I still can use in the present that she loves. And guess what? I got a real Black Nubian beauty queen. So you know I'm going to act right. You know I got to be on my A game. Not because I'm in fear of losing her, but because I want to keep her happy. That's right. I'm trying to let you know. Appreciation can also be as simple as writing an I love you, a handwritten letter, or spontaneous text. We must appreciate the connection that we have while they are present and never take them for granted. That's another reason why me and Mrs. G are so transparent. She's very good at letting me know, hey, baby, don't take anything for granted. And I feel that. I feel her spirit when it talks to me. I feel the connection that we have. Look, human connection makes us who we are. Navigating relationships can be hard, but focusing on intentionality can make decisions that foster these connections clearer. We must learn to be intentional with ourselves before we learn to be intentional with one another. Remember I said earlier about self-love, knowing yourself, getting closer to yourself. Being intentional involves ascribing meaning to everything that we do and say. It helps us to find a new sense of purpose in life. When we are intentional in our relationships, everyone involved feels appreciated, loved, and valued. All right? If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or just want to say hello, you can email us at blackloveexperience@gmail.com. Experience, no E, just with the X, and we'll be happy to respond to you. Today's episode has been incredible. I love this. And I really wish Mrs. G was here because I know she would have so much to add to the conversation, but I know my baby is here in spirit because I can hear myself going into my spirit. Y'all know how I do. This is a beautiful opportunity for us to continue to push a strong, beautiful narrative about the Black love experience. And look, we all know the Black love experience is an inclusive love. That's right. Black love is an inclusive love. There's a whole lot of people involved in the Black love experience, and we appreciate every single one that is involved. And we appreciate all the experiences that have been experienced through a Black love experience. I'm so thankful to be here on this platform with you all. And if you want to hit us up on any of our socials, it's at the Black Love Experience on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. Again, at the Black Love Experience, no E, X. So Black Love Experience with an X. We want to thank each and every single person who has tuned in around the world. We are in our second season. We're nearing the end, and it's been so special. We thank you all for being so patient with us. We've never done this before. So the second season has been a learning experience. It's been a lot of fun, and we can't wait to share more of our Black love experience with you all. So until the next time, be the better versions of yourself and love each other and love yourself. I am Tavares for the Black Love Experience podcast. And guess what, y'all? We'll see you all next week. Peace.
One time for your mind, for your mind.
Next time on the BLX.
Positive role models on the next Black Love Experience podcast. Today's show is brought to you by WestCoastRecoveryCenters.com. We want to thank everybody over there for all their help on today's show. And we look forward to seeing y'all next week. Thank you. Peace, love, and light.
I'm Amber.
I'm Tavares. We are the Black Love Experience. Welcome to our kingdom.